All right, so today we're gonna do section 4.1. So to this point, kind of on our journey through accounting, in the last chapter we talked about this new way of kind of organizing our, accounting equation using this journaling technique, right? But what you probably started to notice was that when we used that general ledger, it was kind of hard to keep track of everything, or if you wanted to look at just what was happening in one account, like just your business with, your accounts receivable from one company, it was going to be hard to sift through all the lines. You had to read through all and everything, and to find that particular piece. So we're going to kind of now take this idea of a journal and further organize it and have multiple journals all pertaining to a single account that are contained in one book called a ledger. And that's kind of what we're building out now in chapter 4, is how to do that. So we start with one piece of our ledger called an account form. So it's just a place to summarize all the transactions for a single account. So it basically looks like one of these sheets that you've been working in, but it would be for a specific account, like you see in the top where it says account and account number. So this is going to be part of a larger piece of paperwork where you're going to have lots of these pages, one for each account. So basically, our T accounts that we talked about in chapter 2, essentially one of these account forms is going to represent a single T account. So we have the account name, and then all the information we need to trace back to a specific journal page. And then we have our credit and debit side taken care of. Oops. And then we have our running balance columns. We'll talk about how to actually fill these forms out later. In this first section, though, what we're really going to be talking about is how to create these new pages and name them and organize them inside of this broader collection of pages. So we're not going to be writing numbers in anywhere or keeping track of any transactions yet. We're just kind of building out the framework to do that in section 1. So let's go back to our example business. This is the Delgado Web Services. We've talked about every chapter. It's going to be pretty familiar with their business here by the end of this. But if you look, we had always had this chart of accounts, and we had numbered these account names, like cash was account 110, and petty cash was account 120, and so on. And we've never really done anything with those numbers before. We're going to talk about what they mean. We're going to do that today. So that chart of accounts is called, or a group of these account statements is called a ledger. And a ledger that contains all the accounts pertaining to the business, everything you need to prepare a financial document, like an earnings report or something of that nature, is called a general ledger. And the name given to each of those accounts inside of your general ledger, you have an account page for each account. It's called the account title, shockingly, right? And we'll assign each of those accounts a number, which will be called our account number. Shocking again. So for example, if we look at the Delgado Web Services, the 150 next to supplies is the account number for the account title supplies. So when we talk about one of these account numbers, typically it has like a two-part naming system. So the first part is the general ledger division. So in this case, the 1 pertains to the asset class, and the 50 contains the information that it's the 5th entry or the 5th account inside of the asset section of our general ledger. Typically, we name each of these accounts gapped by 10 spaces, so that if we end up adding a new account, we can keep the alphabetical order by just like slotting it in between. So you'd use, like, if you ended up creating a new account that needed to go in between like cash and petty cash, you could call that account 115. And it gives you a chance to like keep the alphabetical order that you'd like. You do the same thing back when I was in high school when you're learning how to write like computer programs. You had to name all your line numbers manually. All the line numbers were numbered by increments of 10 in case you had to go back and like add something in. You had space to do that. So I know that's probably not an analogy that any of you guys are familiar with, but when you did like C basic. Anyway, so once we've assigned these account numbers, we want to keep things like, arranged and organized in a specific way. This process is called file maintenance. So the procedure for arranging accounts in a general ledger, assigning account numbers, and keeping records current. So for example, let's say we have these 2 accounts, miscellaneous expense and supplies. Those are existing accounts. And we want to add in a new expense, as I was kind of mentioning earlier. We want to keep the names in alphabetical order for the most part. The asset's a little different. But for expenses, certainly those should be in alphabetical order. So if I want a new postage expense, P comes between M and S. So I'm going to assign that new account a number in between 560 and 570. Typically we pick right in the middle and start with a 5. And then if you have to assign something else, if you have like a like outstanding something, or outbox maintenance or something, if you have another expense that starts with an O, you assign it a number between 560 and 565, probably like 563 or something. Everybody's okay? And then say we have a new water expense coming in. Well, that's at the end of the alphabet. Let's give that 10 spaces after, right? Because I don't have to slot it in between 2 existing accounts. It's the last account on the list. That's just going to get its whole separate 10-digit number down. Is everybody okay there? So if I have to start a new account, that's called opening an account. So if I start doing business with a new company, I need a new accounts receivable for that company, and accounts payable for that company, or I start handling a new or I start having a new expense because now I have to pay for, rent because I've opened a storefront, or I have to pay for cell phone service because I'm giving my employees cell phones because they have to, so I can get contact with them when they're out in the field or something. That's called opening an account. So we have to create a new account. So when we do that, we start by filling out an account title and then giving it an account number. So this is called opening an account in a general ledger. Again, we write the account title, that's our first entry, and then we write the account number as our second entry. Everybody's cool? You'll have to do this in the work today. Yes, sir. Yeah. And it took me like the wording in the Mind Tap is not totally clear what they wanted here. It took me forever to figure out. Oh, I'm like, oh, okay, this is all they wanted. All right. So to review, the two parts of an account number, the first digit describes the division in the general ledger, whether it's an asset or an expense or a liability or an equity or whatever. And the second and third digits indicate the location of that account within that subdivision of the ledger, right? So it's like section and then chapter or something. You could think about it that way. Or like chapter and verse if you're thinking Bible passages, right? Like you have book, chapter, verse, just a way of organizing your ledger. Struggling to think of something that everybody's familiar with. Like, oh, let's look at the Bible, how the Bible's organized, at least to some extent. The two steps for opening an account would be to account title, account number. Everybody feel okay? Let's practice with the Mind tab. So we'll go through the work together here as a group, and then I'll step aside and let you guys do the other piece by yourself. Sound good? So I'm in the wrong chapter here. Close that down. So all of the, just reset the whole thing. So all three, the work together, the on your own, and the application are all basically the same format. So the first task here is we have all these different account titles. The first thing we want to do is organize them into which heading they're going to go into our general ledger. So are these going to be assets, liabilities, equities, or are they revenues or expenses? So those are 5 divisions inside of our general ledger. So if we look at accounts payable, where should that go? Liability, correct. Because that is money we owe to someone else. That's like definition of a liability. Accounts receivable. That's an asset. That's money owed to us. That's potential money. So all accounts payable and all accounts receivable, we can fill in immediately, right? Because doesn't matter what the business is. We know that it's an asset or a liability, right? Everybody's good? Okay. Miscellaneous expense. I would call that an expense, right? So there's equity things, but really the only 2 equity things are going to be capital and drawing. So miscellaneous expense, insurance expense. It's an expense. Do you detect a pattern here with these expenses? Yeah. Based on the title, what's the key? It says expense after it, right? Like, oh my gosh, I'm so surprised. Prepaid insurance. That is an asset. Isabel Seville drawing. That's an equity, right? Cash, asset. Sales, revenue, good, yes. Oops. Wrong row. Supplies. Supplies expense. Expense. Automobile expense. Isabel Seville capital. Owner's equity. And then rent expense. Expense. So again, we can check. That looks good. So if we hit retry, we do grade this step, and it's gonna let us now move on to the next part to the assignment. So all these assignments you're gonna do today have 3 parts. Make sure that when you finish the first page and you check it, you don't hit submit. If you hit check, you have to hit retry and then grade this step, so it'll let you move on to the next one. All right, so now we've classified all of these accounts into assets, liabilities, equity, revenue, and expenses. Now what we're going to do is assign these things account numbers. So the first thing I would do is I'm going to assign an account number to the divisions. So those should be all like, you know, like 100, like 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. The divisions are all going to get a hundreds title. Is everybody okay with what we did here?
Yeah.
To name the divisions. Just 100, 200, 300, 400, 500.
Kind of off topic, just
Yes.
you know, I finished up the application process.
So send me an
Send
email
you an email.
to let me know that you did that, so I can go back and look for it to regrade it. Happy to do that. Okay. So far, so good? Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna name these, or give these account numbers inside of the divisions. So typically, we're gonna do assets last. Typically, we're gonna go assign numbers in alphabetical order. So if I look at liabilities, which one should come first? Anoka Supplies, because A comes before S for Supply Mart. So I would name this one 210, and I name this one 220. Everybody feel okay there? If I look at the equity, what should I name capital? 310, because capital comes C comes before D, so capital comes before drawing. So I'll do 310 and 320. Revenue, what should I name sales? This is a brain buster here. There's only one thing in the revenue category. 410. And then if we look at our expenses, which one should get the 510 number? Automobile, okay? And then how about 520? Insurance. How are you picking these, Adriana? Alphabetically, okay? And then 530, miscellaneous. And then 540, R. And then 550 is going to be the last one, supplies. All right, now let's circle back to assets. Unfortunately, assets are not organized alphabetically for whatever reason, so cash is always the first one. Seems like it anyways. Again, I'm learning this along with you guys, so. So if you look at the drop down, only one of those is going to make sense, right? What's the only number in the drop down for supplies that makes any kind of sense here? 140, right? If we're assigning numbers, we're not going to do it with, if it doesn't end in 0, unless we're adding a new account. Here we're assigning accounts from jump, so we would never give it a account title that didn't end in 0. Question? Yeah, so I think if you just go back and click it again and open, it'll let you pick up where you left off. And just let you reopen it, call it a second try or whatever, but like, that doesn't matter to me. Yeah. Uh-huh. So 140 is the only one that makes sense there, right? If we do accounts receivable, So what two are the options that make sense for accounts receivable? 120 or 130, right? If I look at the other accounts receivable, I also have 120 and 130. Which one of the two should be 120? L North or Greg Veras? Greg Veras, right? Because G comes before L. And then that leaves prepaid insurance, which at this point we can tell should be 150.
So, Mr. Cool,
Yeah.
you're going in alphabetical order on the left and then right side, correct? Is that what you're doing? I'm confused.
So for anything that's not an asset,
Yeah.
we are going in alphabetical order.
So like the expenses.
Yes. And the liabilities
Yeah.
and the equities
Okay.
are all alphabetical order.
And when you say alphabetical order, I'll basically start with the liabilities tab with 200,
Well, yes.
and then like accounts payable would be 202, right?
You mean 220 or 210?
Oh yeah.
We're always going by increments of 10 when we're assigning. That gives us a place to add a new account later and maintain alphabetical order.
And then so for the assets portion, how are you doing that?
So the order for assets is not alphabetical.
So what is it?
Well, cash is always first,
Okay.
and then you do your accounts receivables,
Okay.
and those should be in alphabetical order. Yes.
It says that the accounts receivable and
Did I do it?
accounts receivables are switched.
Did I do it wrong? Oh, I did do it wrong. Why would that be the case? Huh. All right. Well, why would we have done that? Thank you, Ben.
Because and comes before V.
Oh, maybe they used last name
Yeah,
there?
it's, and the instructions says last name.
Oh, okay, there you go. Thank you. So,
It's just like the best assets to the worst assets.
yeah, I think that's kind of the idea, Joe. Yeah.
I think I can't really tell. The whole liabilities thing's a bit confusing. Like,
Well, the liability should be okay, the assets.
So is it the better the asset, the lower the number it is?
I think the more liquid the asset, the higher or the lower the number. So like cash is king,
Yeah.
right? Then debt that's gonna turn into cash is next.
Yeah.
And then like,
oh,
you
go by increments of 100.
yeah, and then we have what? Supplies, which you could sell for cash. And then your prepaid insurance, which getting cash out of that is pretty hard. But it could potentially turn into cash, like. So I think that's kind of the idea,
Okay.
is how close it is to cash is the order there. So there's that. And then we go to, that opens up, once we've submitted or we've graded that page, we can go to the third page, which is, it says the new accounts. So it says 2 new accounts, postage expense and utilities expense are to be added to the chart of, assign the account numbers to the 2 new accounts. So if I look at my expense list, postage should come in between miscellaneous and rent, right? Everybody agree? So for alphabetical order? So the account number I'm going to pick there should be between 530 and 540. I'll do that. I guess I need this little guy. And then we'll do postage expense. And then my other expense is called utilities. If I look at my list, that would be the last one on my list, correct? So I should name that account number 560, right? Because I can give it a full 10 spaces. Okay. Everybody's so far so good?
Yeah.
Okay, yes. You're gonna say something?
Yeah, so for the account number, can you just repeat what you did for that box right there? Sorry, I was a little behind.
So postage expense, if I look at where that would go, it would go in between miscellaneous and rent on my list,
Miscellaneous and rent. Okay.
because P comes between M and R.
Yep.
So I need to pick the number in between 530 and 540. The number in between I should pick is 535, as far from each of them as possible.
Okay.
Utilities, though, would come at the end of the list. So I can give that a full 10 spaces between S and U.
Okay.
So I gave that 560.
And then you just put postage expense. Next.
Yeah, the account title is just, it tells you the account title in the problem, right? All right, our last question says, a blank ledger account is given in question assets with locations identified by numbers. Use the numbers to answer the question to open the cash account. So this, I read this like 10 times and I couldn't for the life of me figure out what the heck it's asking me to do. The idea here is, where are you? Is you're just basically looking at this page. It's saying, what do you write here? And then what do you write here? So you're opening a new cash account. So the title, the account title is cash. So I'm going to put cash in a location 1. That's the account title. And then if I look at my balance or my chart of accounts, we've named cash 110. So that should go in location 2. And that's all it's asking us to do, is basically you have a blank ledger sheet. We're opening this new account. What's the title and what's the account number? That's location 1 is title, location 2 is account number. That's all it's trying to get you to write there. The googly-eyed of how they worded this made no sense to me, but I eventually figured out what the heck it was asking me for. So again, if we check, everything checks out.
And then you want us to do the on your own.
So you guys should now do the on your own and then the application problem for 4-1. Just to let you know, I figured out that I can open these documents without putting a due date attached to them. So that is how I'm going to do it from now on. So if you try searching by due date, you're not going to see anything because that keeps them from closing on people that are absent or are doing it from another location or forgot or it's late or whatever. So I went back and changed the 3-4 and the chapter 3 review problems. I took out the due dates attached to those, so if you're trying to search by due dates, I think, Joe, that's why you couldn't find them.
Yeah,
when you tried to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
But my reasoning is just like that keeps them from like the due date passing and then they close and students can't get it.
I didn't understand. So for the whole thing with me is, I thought the homework for like the application problems, I thought that was what we had to do for the preparation of the test.
Okay.
So I just have to complete the whole preparation thing. I'll have it done.
Yeah, that's fine. Some of those are pretty long.
Yeah, I know.
So it's gonna take a minute.
Yeah, I was gonna try to get it done tonight.
Yeah, just shoot me an email when you finish. It's not a big deal. I was gone, right? So like the fact that students are like kind of confused at what was due when and like where it is. And I wasn't here to answer any of those questions. I'm gonna be real generous on like the late policy because I could throw it out the window. Like you finish it, you finish.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it, sir.
Yeah. Yes. So let's take a look here. So Joey, I think you have, you're trying to use the wrong username or password. So when I look at what you signed up, your username should be just Joey Bialy.
Okay, yeah, I was using my email.
Yeah, so that's what you registered when you signed in and used the code, so that's your username.
Alright,
So that's how you have to get it.
alright, okay.
So because you're using the wrong thing, it wants you to buy it again.
Yeah, okay.
I forgot to just do it, and I asked my question, I did it like 2 months. It's for the one we just did.
Yeah, so if you just go and open it again. Yep. And then just,
Wait, was it?
yep, just click that. And just start
Oh,
assigning
I can
password.
Oh,
And it'll just let you back in and you can resubmit it.
okay, oh, okay.
And I think,
Oh, wait, no, this is a different one.
oh, this is a different.
I don't know if it will let,
It will,
it will.
yeah, it will. So you can just go back and wherever it was. Is it the, well, you're in 4.4. You wanna be in.
Oh,
So if you just hit, start new attempt,
oh, okay.
it'll just let you
Thank you,
go back in and
Yeah.
keep going with
Okay.
wherever you left off.
thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Wow. Mr. Cool. So those three things I had missing on my review, I'm getting the numbers, I checked it, said they're due the 20th.
Yeah, that's okay. It's okay. I was gone, like, we're all, everybody's kind of confused at the gates and what was due and where was at.
So I just finished the first one, so it should be done.
Yeah, when you finish, shoot me an email and I'll go back and check on it. Yeah, no problem.
And then these two are
It's the application.
Okay. Let me go back and,
I was.
yeah, there's 3 threes. I'll just yeah, I'll do it, when I do it, it's one moment, right?
You tried.
Tom.
And then Bristol, you read that like 6 times by now. That was like the every time.
Yeah, So if you, so if you go to the application, well, SG is study. So if you go, study. So, study guide part 1, study 4, and then the C, M, and S problems are, that's fine.
End of that.
But you asked me.
He's gonna hire a guy to live in my garage.
At the question, it says, yeah, at the end, it says, so